Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're unpacking creative visualization. It's a pretty powerful concept, drawn largely from Shakti Gawain's work.
Yeah, and simply put, it's really about using your imagination. It doesn't have to be complicated, just using that to, shape the life you desire.
Exactly. Maybe finding more fulfilling relationships or getting ahead in your career, better health.
Inner peace,
Yeah.
yeah. All those things we're sort of aiming for.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's really fascinating, and Gawain points this out right away, is that you're actually already doing this all the time.
hmm It's not some technique you have to learn from scratch. Your imagination is always going, it's this natural creative engine inside you.
The kicker is, though, that a lot of the time it's running unconsciously.
hmm
Maybe, churning out worries or negative expectations.
And well, guess what? That often leads to experiencing more of exactly that.
Yeah,
What you focus on expands, basically.
totally. So the mission for us in this deep dive is really to figure out how to grab the steering wheel, right? How to take conscious control of this power we all have.
And use it intentionally to tap into all the goodness and potential that life genuinely holds.
Okay, but I bet a question listeners have is how? How does just picturing something in my head actually make things happen out there in the real world?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't
Yeah.
it? And Gawain's explanation really centers on this idea of energy.
Energy.
Yeah, the basic principle is that energy, including the energy of your thoughts and feelings, it's kind of magnetic.
And magnetic, okay.
Tends to attract energy that's, well, similar in nature. Think about those weird little coincidences.
Like thinking of someone and then they call you.
Exactly. Or you need some piece of information and boom, you open a book and there it is. Gawain suggests these are always just random chance.
So I hold an idea strongly in my mind. It's like sending out a signal. Is that a fair way to put it?
That's a really helpful analogy, yeah. The idea acts almost like a blueprint, a mental template for what you want to create.
Okay, a blueprint.
And this blueprint then attracts and guides physical energy, sort of coaxing it to flow into that specific form, to manifest it.
And this can happen even if I'm not like physically building something. Just
Yeah.
the thought itself has power.
That's the really mind-bending part, yeah. Just holding a thought or an idea consistently is an energetic act. It has force. It shapes your experience.
Wow. So, okay, if I'm constantly stuck in negative thought loops,
Yeah.
that could actually potentially make me feel unwell.
It could certainly contribute, yes. And conversely, truly believing in your own beauty or strengths might help you actually manifest more of that.
Because you're putting out that beauty energy.
Kind of. And it's not just conscious thoughts either. Your unconscious beliefs, your deep-seated feelings, they're operating on this level too, constantly radiating energy and attracting things back.
Which leads to what Gawain calls the law of radiation and attraction, right?
Exactly. What you put out comes back,
Hmm.
like attracts like.
Yeah.
You tend to draw towards you the things you think about most often, believe in most strongly.
What you really expect deep down.
And what you imagine most vividly. It's a
Yep.
combination of all those things.
Now, I can imagine some listeners thinking, okay, this sounds a bit unconventional, and that's totally fair.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The book acknowledges that skepticism you might feel right off the bat. It's
Yeah.
natural.
Yeah.
But it also really emphasizes that if you stick with it, if you practice, creative visualization can lead to some really deep, meaningful growth. It's not just about getting stuff.
How so?
Well, the process itself often brings your own limitations to the surface. Those hidden fears, those unconscious beliefs that might be holding you back without you even realizing it.
So you become aware of your own roadblocks.
Precisely. And as you learn to gently dissolve those limiting attitudes, maybe through the visualization process itself, it just creates space
Space for what?
for more happiness, more fulfillment, more love, the good stuff.
So the ultimate goal isn't just like visualizing a new car and poof, it appears.
Huh? Probably not quite like that, though who knows. But no, the book suggests the real aim is reaching a state where making choices, creating your life moment by moment, becomes this conscious, joyful act.
Where you're naturally choosing the best, most fulfilling life you can imagine.
Yeah, becoming aware that you really are the architect of your experience all the time.
Okay, that's a big idea. So to make this more concrete for everyone listening, the book gives a really simple exercise to start with.
A good first step.
And after we walk through that, we'll dig into why relaxation is so darn important for this.
Crucial, yeah.
Then we'll talk about how to visualize because it's maybe not what you think.
Good point. It's broader than just pictures.
And finally, we'll break down the 4 key steps Gawain outlines for making creative visualization really work for you. Sound like a plan?
Sounds like a great roadmap for this dive.
All right, let's jump into that simple exercise then. First things first, you need to pick something you want.
But keep it simple for this first try, right? Something you can genuinely imagine achieving without too much internal resistance.
Yeah, like maybe finding a great parking spot, or having a really pleasant conversation with someone, or even just a small object you'd like.
Something tangible or easily pictured? Okay, got it. Then what?
Then you find yourself a quiet spot, somewhere you can just chill out for a few minutes without being interrupted.
Sit, lie down, whatever's comfy.
Exactly. Comfort is key. Now, the relaxation part. Gotta let go of the tension. Start with your toes.
And just mentally scan upwards.
Yeah, toes, feet, ankles, calves, all the way up to the top of your head. Just consciously telling each part, relax, let go.
Okay, releasing tension bit by bit.
Then focus on your breathing. Nice, slow, deep breaths. Feel your belly rise and fall. Don't force it, just gentle, deep breaths.
Calming the nervous system.
And while you're breathing like that, start counting down slowly in your mind from 10 down to 1.
10, 9.
8.
Getting more relaxed with each number.
That's the idea. Just letting yourself sink deeper into that calm, quiet state.
Okay, so I'm relaxed. I'm breathing deeply. I've counted down. Now what?
Now bring that symbol thing you chose back into your mind, but imagine it exactly as you want it to be, really vividly.
So if it's an object, like a new mug I want,
Imagine holding it, feeling the warmth, admiring the color, maybe showing it to a friend. Really use it in your mind.
and if it's a situation, like that pleasant conversation,
Picture yourself there, see the other person, hear their voice, hear your voice. Feel the positive vibe between you. Include details, sounds, feelings, the setting.
make it as real as possible in my imagination.
Exactly. Immerse yourself. And this is important. Feel that it's possible. Feel it like it's already happening or just about to happen.
Like that feeling of happy anticipation?
Yes, or even just quiet certainty. Experience it as if it's real right now in your mind. Play with it. Enjoy the feeling.
Okay. And how often should I do this little mental movie?
Gawain suggests doing it fairly often, especially when you're starting out, maybe twice a day for a few minutes or just whenever you happen to think about your desire during the day.
Keep bringing it gently to mind.
Right. And the book notes that if your desire is clear and your intention is strong, you might actually see shifts happen relatively quickly with these simple things.
Interesting. Now, there was a really crucial point you mentioned earlier about not controlling others.
Yes, this is super important. Creative visualization, as Gawain presents it, isn't about manipulating people or bending them to your will. That's not the vibe at all.
So I can't visualize my boss giving me a raise against their better judgment.
Haha. Well, you can visualize receiving a raise or performing well and being recognized, which might lead to a raise. But the focus is on your reality, your experience.
It's about dissolving my own internal blocks, like maybe my fear of asking or my feeling of not deserving it.
Exactly. It works from the inside out. It helps remove your own barriers to letting good things flow into your life naturally. It's about creating harmony within yourself, which then reflects outward.
Okay, that distinction feels really important. It's about inner work, not outer manipulation.
Precisely. So we touched on relaxation in the exercise, but let's talk a bit more about why it's so fundamental. Why not just visualize while rushing around?
Well, it comes down to brain waves, basically. When you're deeply relaxed, your brain shifts gears.
From the usual busy beta state.
Right, the normal waking consciousness, planning, analyzing, it shifts down into alpha.
Alpha waves. I've heard of those.
Yeah.
Associated with meditation, right?
Exactly. And this alpha state isn't just, pleasant and restorative for your mind and body, although it definitely is that.
There's more to it.
Research suggests it's actually a much more effective state for consciously creating change through visualization. Your mind is more receptive, more connected to that deeper level where manifestation seems to happen.
So relaxing first actually makes the visualization more potent than if you try to do it while stressed or scattered.
That's the idea. It seems counterintuitive, maybe, because we're taught to strive and push. But sometimes relaxing and allowing can be way more powerful than efforting and manipulating.
Okay, so how do we get into this magical alpha state consistently?
Well, Gawain says use whatever works for you. If you already have a meditation practice or a relaxation technique you love, great, use that.
And if not?
Then the method we just described in the exercise is a fantastic starting point. The slow breathing, the progressive muscle relaxation, the countdown. It's designed to gently guide you there.
What if someone finds it really hard to physically relax, like they're just always tense?
That happens. The book suggests exploring things like yoga, maybe Tai Chi, guided meditation apps, or specific stress reduction classes. They teach you tools to release that physical tension.
But it gets easier with practice.
Oh, absolutely. Like any skill, the more you practice relaxing, the better you get at it, and the quicker you can access that state.
And bonus, just learning to relax deeply has tons of other benefits for your health anyway, right?
Totally. Mental clarity, emotional balance, physical well-being.
Mm.
It's a win-win, even apart from the visualization aspect.
Okay, now let's tackle the word visualize, because I think it trips people up. They think they need to see like a perfect HD movie in their head.
That is such a common misconception, and Gawain makes a point of clarifying this. It's absolutely not required to see a crystal clear picture.
So what is required then?
Just using your imagination in whatever way comes naturally to you. Some people do see vivid images. Great for them.
That others might.
Others might just get a sense of something, or they might feel the emotions associated with it really strongly, or maybe they just think about the concept or scenario.
So it could be more auditory for some or kinesthetic about feeling.
Exactly. All of these are valid forms of visualizing or imagining. The key is you're already using your imagination constantly every day in your own unique style.
We all daydream or plan or worry. That's imagination at work.
Precisely. So whatever process happens for you, when you deliberately try to imagine something, that's your way. That's the right way for you. Don't judge it.
The book gives some little exercises to help people figure out their dominant style, doesn't it?
Yeah, they're quite neat. One is just to relax, close your eyes, and think of a familiar room. Your bedroom, maybe.
And notice what comes up.
Right. Do you see the furniture? Or do you more just know where everything is? Do you remember the feel of the carpet? What details stand out for you?
Okay, paying attention to how I remember it.
Another one is recalling a really pleasant physical sensation, like maybe eating something delicious.
Ooh, like warm chocolate cake.
Yes. Or a great massage or swimming in cool water. Try to bring that memory back vividly. Are you tasting the cake? Feeling the water? What sense is strongest?
So it's about noticing which senses are most active in my imagination.
Exactly. And a third one is imagining an ideal natural scene. A peaceful meadow, a forest, a beach. Could be real or totally made up.
My perfect sanctuary.
All right. And again, just notice how you create it. Are you seeing it?
Yeah.
Hearing birds, feeling the sun, or just having a general sense of peace. It helps you tune into your natural imaginative language.
That's helpful. The book also mentions two different modes of visualization, receptive and active. What's the difference there?
Good question. Receptive mode is more about letting go. You relax, you become quiet inside, and you just allow images, feelings, or ideas to surface without trying to direct them.
Like opening yourself up to intuition.
Kind of, yeah. Just seeing what comes up. Active mode, on the other hand, is when you consciously choose what you want to imagine. You decide the scene, the outcome, the details.
So one is receiving, one is creating.
Pretty much.
That's-
And both are really useful. Receptive mode can give you insights. Active mode helps you focus your intention, and both get stronger with practice.
Okay. But what if someone tries these exercises and just draws a blank? They feel like they can't visualize or imagine anything deliberately.
The book addresses this too. Gawain suggests that often when there's a real block like that, it might be rooted in some kind of fear.
Fear. Fear of what? Imagining nice things.
Sometimes it's more a fear of looking inward, a fear of what they might find there if they get quiet and really pay attention. Unacknowledged feelings, maybe old hurts.
Like opening Pandora's box.
Sort of. There's an example in the book about a man who kept falling asleep in meditation. Turns out he'd had a really intense emotion release during a visualization years before and was subconsciously terrified of feeling that strongly again, especially in public.
Wow. So his inability to meditate was actually a defense mechanism.
Exactly. And another example was someone whose visualization ability dramatically improved after they worked through some buried painful feelings in therapy.
So our emotional state can really block our imaginative flow.
It seems so. But the key message here is that there's actually nothing inside you that can truly harm you. It's usually our resistance to feeling our feelings that causes the problems and keeps us stuck.
So if weird or uncomfortable stuff comes up during visualization or meditation,
The advice is generally to just observe it. Be present with it. Allow yourself to feel it without judgment. Often, just acknowledging it fully allows it to release its hold on you.
facing the fear dissolves it.
In many cases, yes. Avoidance tends to make things bigger and scarier.
But the book does mention seeking help if things feel really overwhelming, right? Especially with trauma.
Oh, absolutely. If deep-seated pain or trauma surfaces, working with a qualified therapist or counselor is incredibly important and supportive. Don't feel you have to go it alone if it's heavy stuff.
Okay. But for most people, visualization isn't actually that difficult.
That's the reassurance, yeah. Usually it's a pretty natural human ability, and it just gets clearer and easier the more you do it, like flexing a muscle.
And if someone really struggles with the picturing part, even after trying,
Then Gawain suggests focusing more on affirmations might be easier and just as effective for them. We can definitely talk more about those.
okay, perfect. So assuming we're ready to give it a go, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. The 4 basic steps for effective creative visualization. Step 1.
Step 1. Set your goal. You got to know what you're aiming for.
Makes sense. Decide what you want. A job, a house, a relationship change.
Better health, more creativity, inner peace, solving a specific problem. Anything, really. But the key is clarity.
Be specific, right? Not just, I want to be happy.
Exactly. Vague goals tend to bring vague results. What does happy look like for you in this context? What specific change are you aiming for?
But is it okay if my goals change over time?
Totally okay. In fact, it's expected. As you grow and learn, your desires will likely evolve. That's natural. Just be clear about your current goal.
And the book mentions something about making a physical representation, like a treasure map.
Yeah, that's mentioned as an optional but potentially really helpful tool. Creating a vision board or a treasure map with images and words representing your goal makes it more concrete.
Okay, so step 1, clear, specific goal. Step 2.
Step 2, create a clear mental picture, or as we discussed, a clear mental experience.
Right. Imagine the goal as if it's already happened. It's
Yeah.
real right now.
Yes, and make it as vivid and detailed as you possibly can in your imagination.
Bring in all the senses. What does it look like? Sound like? Feel like?
Smell like, taste like. And crucially, what does it feel like emotionally? Connect with the joy, the relief, the satisfaction, the peace of having achieved it.
Feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Got it. Okay, step 3.
Step 3, focus on it often. Bring that mental picture, that feeling state, to mind frequently.
Not just in dedicated meditation time.
Both. Definitely use quiet meditation time for focused visualization, but also bring it to mind casually throughout your day, just quick little moments of reconnecting with that reality.
Why is doing it often important?
It helps integrate the goal into your life, makes it feel more normal and attainable. It reinforces the blueprint and projects that energy more consistently.
But you mentioned earlier not to strive too hard.
Exactly. The focus should be clear, but also light, easy, relaxed. Think of it like holding a butterfly. Hold it firmly enough so it doesn't fly away, but gently enough not to crush it. Too much tension or desperate energy can actually block the flow.
Okay, clear but light focus. Makes sense. And the final step, number 4.
Step 4, give it positive energy. This is about your attitude towards your goal when you think about it.
Think positively about it. Be encouraging.
Yes. Use strong positive statements in your mind or even out loud. These are your affirmations.
Like, I am now enjoying my wonderful new job. Or, perfect health is my natural state.
Exactly. Statements in the present tense as if it's already true or happening now. See yourself receiving it, enjoying it, being grateful for it.
What about doubts? They inevitably creep in, right?
They do. And Gawain suggests that while you're doing your visualization or affirmation, you consciously, temporarily set those doubts aside, just for those few moments.
Suspend disbelief like when you're watching a movie.
Good analogy. And really practice feeling that your desire is real, that it's possible, that it's already on its way to you. Cultivate that sense of positive expectation.
Okay, so those are the 4 steps. Set goal, create picture, focus often, give positive energy. And I just keep doing this.
Pretty much. You continue the process regularly until one of 2 things happens. Either you achieve your goal, or you find that your desire for it has genuinely faded or changed.
Which goes back to goals evolving.
Right. And if a goal does change, it's important to consciously acknowledge that to yourself. Mentally say, okay, I'm releasing my energy from that old goal now.
Close the loop.
Exactly. End the old cycle cleanly before starting a new one. It helps avoid internal confusion or feeling like you failed when you actually just grew in a different direction.
That's really practical advice. Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. To bring it all together for everyone listening.
This deep dive has really been about exploring creative visualization, mainly through the lens of Shakti Gawain's work. It's about harnessing that power of imagination we all have.
Using clear goals, vivid mental imagery, or sensing or feeling.
Focused attention, that regular light focus.
And those positive affirmations and energy, giving it that juice.
And we've talked about how this isn't some external magic trick, but really an innate ability.
Hmm.
Something you already do, but can learn to do consciously for positive change.
We even walked through that simple exercise to give everyone a starting point.
Hopefully sparking some ideas for how you can begin experimenting with this in your own life, using those 4 basic steps.
Yeah, and maybe even prompting a little reflection on, well, what are you visualizing unconsciously right now? What tapes are playing in the background?
And realizing you have the power to choose differently, to consciously direct that creative energy towards what you truly desire.
It really comes back to that core idea, doesn't it? The empowering message that you are constantly the creator of your own experience.
You are the artist, life is your canvas.
Wow, that's a powerful thought to leave everyone with. We really encourage you to play with these ideas, experiment with the techniques.
See what resonates, see what unfolds for you. There's always more to explore with affirmations, goal setting, deepening the practice.
Definitely fertile ground for personal growth. So, thanks for taking this deep dive with us today. Go create something wonderful.